So we're going to go through and run some basic queries for this to get some data out of the catalog here. So I'm gonna make mostly utilization here. I'll do some of this initially again through the VMS GUI, but then I'm going to do a lot of this with a utility called QueryBook, which allows me to write SQL queries kind of ad hoc. For this, it does talk to Trino, our Trino setup in our lab, and then we'll give us that. So we're gonna go through and just say I want to look at the attributes in the catalog. I want to go through and give like the total number of files and directories in a cluster. Give me the top 10 largest files of their owner, and show me the number of users that are using the most space. So let's go through and let's do that. So again here from the GUI here, I'm logged into a 5.3 GUI as administrator. Where all this is going to be located is in our database vast catalog for this. So we have these queries here. If I want to go through and I want to execute a query here, let's say I want to find a column. I want to look for, again, we'll use mine here. My UID here is, and we're going to say 33443. I'm going to go through and add this into this. I'm going to execute this command here. This is going to run real time. So it's going to go out and query the database here and give me all the files here. It does limit things, and I'm not doing kind of sorting for this, but kind of gives you an example as to where you would where you go through and do certain go through and do some of these queries there. And for any one of these, I have all these other options here for these different column names, things I can go through and search for when I'm looking for things there. Again, if you haven't already enabled, if catalog is not already enabled, you'll say catalog isn't enabled in here. So you need to go through and set this up. You can do this under settings. Go click on settings, vast catalog, and this is where we would either turn on or off catalog, where we set how often we go through and take catalog copies or set the frames, how often we're doing that indexing that's on, how long we're keeping that, and are we storing snapshots for the data with this here. So in this case here, this is our lab cluster. We're taking them every 15 minutes and storing an hour's worth of those as well. We also have here, again, some of those custom tags, and I'll show you these in a query in just a moment here for those. So let's take a look at some of the basic queries, that we have here. So these are, and I'm going to point out, these are all running real time here, so there may be a little bit of a delay here with some of these queries because some of them are processing quite a bit of data, and as with live demos, things happen. So hopefully you don't have any problems here. But I'm going to go through it. I'm going to say, hey, I want to describe the catalog here with the table. The Trino config has this identified as var 204 is the machine it's talking to. So we're going to go through, we're just going to run this query here. It's going to go out, communicate to the database, say here, give me all of the columns that are available, and I'll see all of these here that we can go through and query. So I have all the standard ones. I click on next, I still have all the standard ones, and then I have some of these additional ones here that were defined as custom tags, where if I come back here to the catalog, I'll see that these were ones that were defined here as custom tags. Okay, so let's go through and let's run a little bit more. Let's run one here. Let's again look at what's available in the cluster as a whole. How many files do we have in here? So we're going to look at total number of files and total number of directories. So we're going to go through and run this query here. Very straightforward, and it doesn't. Why does it not like that? Oh, I love it when it doesn't do it. Let's run this again here. Come on. Didn't like when I had something highlighted there. Don't know what its problem is. Okay. So it'll go out and run this query here, and we're going to get a count. And this is going through, and again, this is real time. So we're going through, looked at that, give me a count of all of the files and all of the directories in there, as well as the total size of everything within this particular cluster. So that took, this runtime here took 7 seconds to run. Think of how long it would take from a find command to go through and give me a count of every single directory, every single file. And this not only includes the one share. This is the entirety of the element store. So it's very, 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 very quick, very, very fast. Let's do something a little bit more. Let's say I want to look at the 10 largest files that are on the cluster, and I want to know who owns the file, what the name of the file is, and where that file happens to be located. So we're going to go through and run this. We're going to say, okay, I want the owner name. I want the parent path that it is, the name of the file and the size of the file. For this, and we're going to go through and run this query here, and it's going to go kick off. It gets sent off to Trino. It'll go through and run the query here, and hopefully it comes back here in a second here. So this will come back relatively quickly here. And it took us 14 seconds to get this information where I see, hey, I've got these large files here for this. So I've got some files that are, about 2 terabytes in size, terabyte and a half, some a little more than a terabyte. These are the owners of the files here, and these are the locations of each one of those files. So again, it took 14 seconds to index the entirety of the element store. Let's talk about who has the most space on the system. Which users are using the most space in the system? So on the top 10 consumers. Now, the user here is going to be, who owns the file, who's the actual owner of the file. And we're going to go through and get the sum of all of the files that they own for this. We're going to group this by the owner's name, and we're going to order this by the size here. So this is more than just going through and doing a query of everything there. We're having the query engine go through and do this sorting and the summation of things there. So let's go through and run this query here. Again, this is going to be live against the system. And it's going to come back. Took about 6 seconds to go through and runs. And it tells us that, hey, okay, we have, the owner, user vast data, owns a majority of the file. Now, this is in bytes. I'm not doing anything fancy like converting it to human readable form. We've got quite a few files owned by root, some that are owned by null. So that's somebody running as NFS nobody. And then some other users here that are using, quite a bit of storage on this particular cluster.